days of finally being one, knowing where she is, and two, being able now to have a place to pay
Well, I
tribute
think
to
that
her.
that's even up in the air at this point. We just found out from the police that although they have positively identified Morgan's body this morning, the medical examiner will not release the body for her body for probably another 5 or 6 days. And so we really, it's too soon to know what our plans are going to be.
Can you talk about how important it is for people to still not stop calling now, to still call any leads they think they might have?
Absolutely. I mean, I think particularly now that the area where Morgan was found is, as the police, I didn't hear the press conference yesterday, but my understanding is that this is not a random place that someone came upon accidentally. This is known to someone here. It's a local person, and as I've said all along, Morgan would be found within 5 miles of this bridge, and it was probably a local person, and I'm sure I'm 100% right.
There are a lot of parents watching whose hearts go out to you. A lot of students here on this campus, and a possibility of a killer on the loose. What do you urge parents to talk about their family, to their daughters? And how much do you urge people to turn in tips to try and get this person off the street?
I do urge tips. Parents always urge caution to their children, as we had to Morgan.
Sure.
But I think it's more subtle, but I think in addition to caution, we need to change the social framework that views women as prey. I mean, that is the shift that needs to be made. I'm not sure how that can be accomplished, but I'm going to try and ponder it, because that's what we can change. Parents always caution their kids.
Mm-hmm.
We need to do that plus something.
I think young people, as Jill has said all along, that young people feel not very vulnerable. I think they're very trusting in this world that we live in, and I think one of the things that we have to ponder, in addition to what Jill just said, is do we advocate and do we honor Morgan to support campus safety? I think that's an important issue. It strikes me every time we come up here, and we oftentimes see some of you all here when we visit this site, and there's not a time that goes by that we don't have probably 10 young women running here by themselves, and I think not necessarily that this would be the place that something would happen again, but it does bring to mind the fact that people, I think, are vulnerable, and I think we have the responsibility with Morgan's case to bring to light the fact that people need to be careful, that you don't want to go out by yourself alone. We didn't want Morgan to be going out by herself, and there's so many things that if we could have just changed one thing, we would have had a different outcome. But we can't turn back the clock. But we can go forward, and we can figure out how we can honor Morgan and remember Morgan, and maybe make it a safer place for all, not just here, but as a national campaign.
Did the police tell you why they were so sure? It seems like only after hours it was Morgan. They seemed pretty confident, even without the autopsy. They seemed pretty confident it was Morgan. Did they tell you how they were able to make that identification?
I think that's part of the investigation.
Yeah. And we're still waiting on an exact cause of death from the MEs.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your time right now.